Blessings on blessings, it's B Solar and welcome to the Murky season. On this episode of the Breakdown series, we have founder and CEO of Murky Cloud Productions, JDE, and he will be breaking down his latest release titled Echoes in Space. So let's get into it. Greetings, Jay.
Hey, yo, man.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, in yourself, bro?
Always pushing through, bro. So I would like you to tell me and the viewers how the song Echoes in Space came about.
So there was a guy, a producer called Wilderness. He actually hit me up on SoundCloud. He heard some of the music that I still had on there, and he liked what he heard. And so he ended up sending me like playlists on playlists full of beats. And eventually I ended up choosing like 4 beats, Echoes in Space being one of them. And yeah, that's kind of how the song came together. We didn't just make the one song. It was, it was four really good songs, but this is the one that kind of stood out to me as a favorite. So yeah.
I would like to know the reason for choosing this instrumental for Echoes in Space.
Oh, believe me, it was actually a tough choice because there was so many beats that I actually got the opportunity to choose from. But this was one of those beats where it was like I heard the song in my head, while listening to the beat. I kind of like heard the direction I was gonna go. I heard, you know what I mean? And the song the beat just spoke to me, like, honestly. So yeah.
Then how did the song Echoes in Space come together? The concept for the song.
The concept. So to be completely honest, at the time there wasn't a concept necessarily. I was just writing, about the place I was in, and without me realizing it, the concept just came together without there actually being one. It just came together after me hearing the whole track, and the concept basically is the difference between night and day in an emotional sense. Like night obviously being darkness and day being like, happy, uplifting mood. So the song basically takes you through the battle that I had between night and day. You know what I mean? Like being in night and wanting to be like, in day, just wanting to be in a better emotional state. So as you hear the song, you'll understand what I mean more by that. But yeah, that's kind of the concept.
Awesome. I personally listened to the song, so one of my favorite lines from the song would be like, "I made better music when this wasn't a job to me."
Yeah.
I would like to know, like, behind that specific bar, what was your thought process? Or what was your intention with that bar?
It's exactly like, it's one of those bars that like take it as it is, because that's exactly what it was like. Because at that moment in time, it felt like I was just making music for money. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't any real passion behind it. I mean, there was passion, but it wasn't as before. When I was starting out, that hunger, that the drive you kind of feel, the chill you get, like, after you make your first song, or like after you just done recording, you know what I mean?
The feeling wasn't what you expected it to be.
Yeah, that feeling was no longer there before these projects, you know what I mean? It wasn't there. So at the time, I was, honestly, I can say it now, I was putting out like projects that were very like, they weren't me to my full potential. I guess it was just one of those things like, I want to drop a mixtape, I want to drop an EP, you know what I mean? It had substance, but it didn't have the emotion, didn't have the delivery, it didn't have, you know what I mean?
The effort.
Yeah,
passion.
exactly. It was things that were just thrown together, and yeah. But luckily, these projects, that I did with Wilderness, projects I've been doing with you, and like, just getting back to that kind of place where just getting back to that place where it just felt like, I feel more passionate about it now. I feel more like, okay, I want the song to be perfect before it releases. You know what I mean? I'm focusing more on the delivery. I'm focusing more on the mixing and the mastering and all of that. So
the full production, like taking it
exactly, like, treating it like, of course it's going to be a business, you know what I mean? Because of course there's going to be money involved at some stage, but as long as for me the passion is still there, you know what I mean? That's what the most important thing is.
That's where so the drive is supposed to come from, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So yeah.
Then I would like to know, like, what are some of your favorite lines from the specific song Echoes in Space?
I mean, besides the one that you just mentioned, I made better music when this wasn't a job to me. Besides that one, we have the beginning of the second verse, and I mean some chunks of the first verse too, which had some good bars in it. But the beginning of the second verse goes, "Wake up, it's time to put a smile on your face. Although it's fake, at least it's real enough to hide all the hate I have for me, the hair for me covered in blood. the other half, like, enough is enough. So it's like that literally shows you the concept, like, the night and day concept, where it's like the half of me is covered in blood, representing, like, the dark side, what I mean, in an emotional state. And then the other half is like, enough is enough, you know what I mean? Enough of this negative feeling, enough of this being in this
Like
night phase.
you at the crossroads, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, here you make this decision of like, okay, do you just allow yourself to suffer emotionally? Do you know what I mean? Or do you actively try to get better? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I get from that, yeah, and then I would like to know from you personally as an artist, like, why do you consider this a good song? Because I can imagine you listening to it on repeat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
why is the reason you repeat it?
Oh, for me, I think the key thing for me is I never repeat if you know me in a musical sense, if you've been in the studio with me, I listen to the song for as long as I mix it. After that, I just don't go back to it, you know what I mean? Because I don't want the song to sound bad to me at some point, and then I have some regrets or whatever. But this song and a few of the other songs that I did with Wilderness, it was like, I can go back to the song every single day, like, multiple times a day even, and it won't get old to me. It won't sound like I need to change anything. You know what I mean? I think that's the key factor to me, and I think that people who listen to it and who listen to my older music can really tell the difference. Where it's like, yeah, you can feel that, and you can feel that, okay, this, like, you finally back at that stage where it's like, you just focused and you focused on everything, and I think that resonates in the music. So yeah, that's why I think it's a great song. I think it will be around, if not for other people, for me, in 5 years, 10 years.
Stuff, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
And that's JDE speaking about his latest release titled Echoes in Space.
Yeah.
And check out the fire with all these links below.
Let me tell you something about myself that is an oddity. I made better music when the shit wasn't a job to me. Scared of the mistakes, was born to be a perfectionist. Doing my best, barely trying, that's a happy accident. Lost a homie close to me thanks to a tragic accident. R.I.P.